Welcome to this short video training session on the DS-8100 patient monitor. This session is going to be a basic overview of the main features and functions to get you started on using the monitor. So first of all, carrying handle just here, you can see that. So there's the carrying handle. Then we have across the top is the alarm pole. So this will flash when the monitor alarms. So we'll just demonstrate that. So you'll see this will flash. You'll notice that the parameter that's affected will highlight in red and you'll get an alarm message across the top as well. Okay, so you can see the alarm flashing, you can see the parameter highlighted, and you can see the alarm message in the top right hand corner there. To stop that, we'll just press the alarm silence button, and you can see now that the alarm silence button has been highlighted to show that that's been activated, and that will now silence this alarm for 1 or 2 minutes depending on how your monitor's been set up. So just below that we have our non-invasive blood pressure start-stop button. This will light when pressed. You'll also be able to hear it inflating your cuff. If you need to stop it for whatever reason, just press again and it will stop it inflating. Below that is our home key. So there's lots of windows and menus like this that you can open up within the monitor, and the home key will take you straight back to your monitoring display. The menu, we'll come back to this menu shortly, as we'll have seen some of it as we work through the user keys. The back button allows you to scroll back through any windows or menus that have been opened, such as this. So if we scroll back there, and you can see how that works. And then we also have a little jog dial here, so you press to activate it. You'll see that it will highlight in blue. Can you see along the bottom there? That's just moving along through those user keys, now through the parameters. So it highlights it in blue. Press to accept and it will open up whatever parameter or user key you've landed on there. So just using the home key button there to clear that off the screen. So those are your fixed keys. Looking along the bottom now, we have some user keys. Now these may be individual user keys such as these ones that you can see, or equally they could be stacker menu keys, or a mixture of the two. So again we have the menu button, which we'll come back to using the back button there. We also have this alarms stacker menu. So if I select that, you'll see that everything in there is to do with alarms. So for example, I can go into my alarm setup, and this will now allow me to set each parameter's alarm upper and lower limits for my patient. And all I do is drag and drop these to wherever I want them to be. Or if you touch, it'll bring up a little arrow key, and it will now allow me to move those up and down to wherever I want them to be. I can also turn any off if it's appropriate to do. I've also got a night mode setting, so as you can see that darkens the screen. It will also quieten the alarms. To come back out of there, it'll either be a case of just touching somewhere on the screen or going back into that night mode button and touching again to bring it back to full brightness. I also have my alarm recall. So when my monitor has been alarming and I want to look back at what it was that was alarming, I can come to this alarm recall screen, touch the waveform or the rhythm strip that I'm interested in, and then it will allow me to look at that and scroll backwards and forwards. And if you're linked to a central station and a printer, you may well then be able to print this off as well. And lastly in here is the alarm suspend. So this is different to the alarm silence. The alarm sound suspend will silence all alarms across the board. So now nothing that this is activated will alarm. So it's not the kind of button that you'd press and walk away, very much still with the patient. The alarm sound suspend will suspend all alarms for 2 minutes, and you'll get a countdown clock here at the very top of the screen. If you want to cancel that so that everything is back to alarming, just touch again and that will cancel it, and you can see the countdown clock has gone. This feature may not be available on all of your monitors, only the ones that we've activated it on. Moving along, we've got trends, so we can now look at our trends in table form. You can alter your interval to see how often you want to look at and view these trends. So just by touching, and it will bring up all the choices there. So anything from hourly down to 10-second time intervals. So that's my table trend. I can also set my non-invasive blood pressure to go automatically. Anything from 2 minutes round to 2 hours is standard, and all I need to do is touch the time interval that I would like, press the blue go button, and it will go every 10 minutes as I've set there until I turn it off again. Rapid discharge will discharge my patient at the end of the patient's stay, and as you can see, it will double check with you before you actually go ahead and do this, because once you press OK, all of the data in the monitor will be deleted out of the monitor, ready for your next patient to be admitted. You may have a number of display options to choose from. Those could be invasive displays, non-invasive displays, or you may have a button that you can toggle between 2 displays. So back into the menu now, so I can either press here or here. So menu, and you can see there's 1 or 2 more keys, features and functions that we've not looked at, but some that we already have that are repeated. So first of all, our admit discharge window. This allows me to admit my patient into the monitor. So first of all, our hospital number can be a mixture of letters and numbers, and press set and it will appear at the top of the screen here, and also you can see it there. To put in a patient's name, all you do, again very similar, standard keyboard, is touch where it says patient ID, and then I can press any of the letters to type in my patient's name. I can also add in a date of birth if I wish. It's backwards, so it's year first. So let's type in a year, and then it's month, and then it's day. Okay, and then when you press set, it will work out how old your patient is. You can set your pacemaker by pressing used, and it will show your pacing spikes in yellow. You could also set your class of patient, so we've got a choice of adult, child or neonate, depending on who you're monitoring. So back into the menu, I can also set my volumes. So you can change tones, but we advise against it because people get used to listening to a particular type of tone associated with a priority of alarm. However, you can change the volumes literally by dragging and dropping the little slider bar there. So taking it up will take you to the maximum volume, taking it down will take you to the minimum volume. The monitors don't go to completely silent. I can also alter the brightness of my screen. Again, another little sliding bar there. And then some of these we've seen already. So that basic alarms that we saw in here, we'll just have a look. So that's to set your alarms, but I can also look at my arrhythmia alarms as well and see how those have been set up. The ECG will take me into my parameter menu, and we'll have a look at the other way you can get to those as well in a moment. And then my trend data, so we've already seen the alarm recall. We've already seen the tabular trend, which was here. I can also look in graph form, and I can also look at my alarm history, so any history of any alarm changes, whether we've changed upper or lower alarm limits, any alarms that have occurred, if I've activated alarm suspend, those sorts of things. So that keeps a full log. I can also go into any of my parameter menus by touching on the parameter, and that will bring up a menu for that parameter. It allows me to change size of waveform. It allows me to change main monitoring lead. It will allow me to adjust my alarms up and down. I can also access my arrhythmia alarms from the heart rate one. Each parameter is set up in exactly the same way. So if I just click on them to show you how those are all set up. You'll notice that you've also got a time and a date at the top right hand corner, and underneath that a little battery indicator that shows you how charged your battery is. This one's currently charging, so you can see it's flashing and also showing in red, so it's low at the moment. When it's fully charged, you'll see that shows in green. The on-off button is here. We just turn the monitor around, you can see where those accessories plug in. So we've got our ECG, SATs. This one could be for arterial pressure monitoring, CVP, or for temperature. This is also a temperature port, non-invasive blood pressure, and some of your monitors may have the CO2 module that will be here. To get any of these in or out, you simply squeeze and pull and push in order to put the cable back in. So that's just a very quick and basic overview of the DS-81 patient monitor. I hope that you found it useful. If you require any further assistance with it or have any questions, then please get in touch with your clinical support specialist on telephone number 01483 728 065, or you could email training@fukuda.co.uk.